that doesn't work. Apparently, according to the synopsis, someone is going to end up dead. This is, so there we go, 2 birds, 1 stone. This main character is dumb. Dumb as rocks, if I can say that. Hello and welcome back to my channel and to Vlogmas. If you are new here, my name is Holly. I am a 7th grade math teacher and an avid reader. I really wanted to finish this bingo this year. If you were here back in, I think it was June, that is when I started my reading journal, and I have absolutely been loving filling it out every month and updating everything. And this bingo I have been obsessed with. This has been the most fun part of my reading journal for me. I think outside of like tracking very specific data, I've loved doing my bingo, and I am so close to getting a complete blackout. I got my first bingo, I don't remember which one it was, but I got it pretty quick and immediately decided to just keep going with it and see how much I can do. And I think I can finish this whole thing. So this video will end when I complete my bingo. Boxes that I have left are holiday themed read, a classic, a graphic novel, a second chance author, and a reread. So that is 5 categories, and the way I do it, I do count 1 book for multiple boxes if it works. First one that I want to knock off, and I really have to be strategic about this because I have quite a few books that I want to have read by the end of the year, and they don't necessarily fit on my bingo. So I want to try and knock out as many birds with 1 stone to be just as efficient as possible while still allowing myself to read everything that I want to read by the end of the year. And I know that by the end of the year is just like an arbitrary date, and it doesn't matter. As long as I'm reading and enjoying myself, it's fine. But it's fun to kind of set these goals and deadlines for myself. So I think the first one that I can knock off is the holiday themed read. Our book club pick this month, I'm part of a book club, and we chose The Christmas Party by, I think it's Michaela Davids, and that one would work for the holiday themed read, and I have to read it this month for book club anyway, so there we go, 2 birds, 1 stone. It is on Kindle Unlimited. Let me pull it up. This is the cover. So for this month, we decided to go for more of a cozy whodunit vibe, and I think that this is going to deliver. I hope that this delivers because I'd really like to show up to book club and have positive things to say about a book instead of always just kind of crapping on them, which is what it's been the past 2 months. Reading update. I am 39% of the way through, what is this? The Christmas Party. And it is a really short book. Like, I didn't realize when I clicked on it how short it was because it's on Kindle, so like I can't see the actual book. But it did say that it takes on average 5 hours to read, which is pretty short. Looked up on Goodreads and it's like under 300 pages. So flying through it. I only read for like maybe an hour yesterday, and I'm almost halfway through the book. But this book is a thriller, and it's basically about this family who something happened to them 10 years ago, and they've basically gone no contact with one of the sisters. But then 10 years later, this sister reaches out and invites them all to a Christmas party to kind of make amends and become a family again. And so there's a lot of tension and just trying to navigate that. Apparently, according to the synopsis, someone is going to end up dead. I don't know, I'm not there yet. So my thoughts so far, it's fine. I'm, like I said, flying through it. There's a lot of characters. The writing feels very, very basic. Like, not only the writing style, like the word choice and the sentence structure, like that is very, very basic, but also just like the plot building and like the story building also feels very basic, which is fine for a thriller. Like, you don't need to be super immersive and really connected with all the characters, but it does feel a little bit like unnatural for the characters to be monologuing the way they're monologuing. I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. Not loving it, but I didn't really expect to love this one because it is the holiday themed read, and I feel like any book that has like a really big holiday setting is already set up to not do as well for me personally. And I don't know if that's like just the Hallmark vibe, which this very much does not feel Hallmark, but just like that vibe, I don't know. But we are almost halfway through with my holiday themed read, so I'm gonna go keep reading. Another reading update. I am 65% of the way through The Christmas Party. It's fine. I am not loving it, but it's really easy to read and it's going super fast. Obviously, 65% of the way I know what like the main conflict is, but we are doing this like back and forth then and now timeline from 10 years ago. And that conflict is kind of silly. Like, this whole book feels based on like really silly conflicts. It's not bad. I am enjoying it and I'm getting through it really fast, so I'm gonna try and finish it tomorrow, I think. So another reading update. I am 77% of the way through, what is this? The Christmas Party. 77% of the way through it, and I'm so annoyed with it. I'm so frustrated because I kind of knew that this was gonna happen based on the writing style of this author. Basically, there's nothing I hate more, specifically in a thriller. I really only see this happening in thrillers. There's nothing I hate more than giving us a certain character's point of view, but not, how do I even want to say this? So we have this character that there's something going on, and this character knows something about what's going on, okay? But when we're in that character's point of view, they make it seem like they know nothing that's going on. And then like a few chapters later, it's like, oh, he, I know what's going on. And it's like, you lied to us, the reader. Like, you're not supposed to be able to lie to the reader. That's an unreliable narrator. And I know that that is not what this author is going for. I've seen unreliable narrator done well, and it ain't this. I have seen it done so many times by thriller authors where they let you in on this character's point of view. So we are reading this character's thoughts and their inner monologues, and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. I'm so distraught. I can't even think straight. Like, to themselves, like they in their brain, that's what they're saying. And then the plot twist is they were the mastermind behind it the whole time. That doesn't work. Because when I am trying to convince other people that like I'm so shocked and surprised that this happened when I really knew that it was happening, in my head I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, what? In my head I'm thinking, I have to sell this, okay? Like, I have to nail this. They have to think that I have no idea what's going on. Like, I am still aware of the fact that I know what's going on. So if someone is in my head reading my point of view, they would know that I knew what was going on. But it's like these authors want to trick us with the plot twist. And it doesn't make any sense. If you want to trick me with a plot twist, don't give me that character's point of view. Don't let me see their thought process. Just tell it from other people's point of views, and just check in on that person's POV when it's not relevant to what's going on. I really hope this is making sense because it's something that's been bothering me for a while, and I always rant about it to my husband, and I always feel like I'm not putting it into words the way I want to. Like, I really hope that y'all know what I mean because it gets me fired up. It makes me so mad. Like, obviously I'm gonna finish the story and I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone. But as of right now, I don't necessarily think I'd recommend it to anybody, which sucks, but it is what it is. Hopefully next time I talk about this book, it's because I'm done with it. Finished The Christmas Party, and I am not pleased with it. It was fine. I found it incredibly unrealistic. Lots of reaches. And I already complained about the POVs being misleading. And I just found every single character completely insufferable. The storyline itself didn't feel very fleshed out. And I really didn't care about anything that was going on. And there was a lot of just like lapses in memory, which I hate reading about, but that's just like a personal ache of mine. But overall, I'm leaning towards like a 2 for that book. I just really wasn't impressed at all or entertained. I didn't really want to keep reading it. I just wanted to finish it, so that sucks. Color in my holiday themed read in my book bingo. Okay, so I still have a classic, a graphic novel, a second chance author, and a reread. I'm really feeling my Kindle right now. Like, I really want to pick up another Kindle book, so I think I'm going to tackle the reread. No, I'm not. The second chance author. I think I'm gonna try the second chance author. I feel like everyone, especially people that are on Kindle Unlimited, have heard about Frida McFadden or know who she is. I have read one book by her and I really did not like it, like at all. I think I gave it 1 star. Like, I hated it so much. I didn't read like her big one. What is it called? The Housemaid? Is that what it was? The Housemaid's Secret. Is that the first book in the series? I think it's a duology, trilogy. I don't know. I just know that that book was so big, I want to say a few years ago, especially on like Book Talk and BookTube and everything. Like, it was huge. Everyone was reading it. Everyone was loving it. But I just ended up, I think I didn't read it because I had just read another book by her and was not impressed. Well, now it's not working. The Housemaid's Secret. Okay, this was only 316 pages, so it's just barely longer than The Christmas Party, which I just read. I'm also so bummed that I'm gonna show up to book club for the 3rd time in a row and be so unhappy with the book we chose. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie about liking a book if I don't like it. Current read is The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden to fulfill my second chance author bingo.
Please hang up and try again.
Okay, I've been reading for about an hour and I am 22% of the way through The Housemaid on chapter 14. I knew that I was reading the wrong one. Like, I thought it was The Housemaid, but then the only one that popped up when I searched The Housemaid on Kindle was The Housemaid's Secret. So I started reading that one and I was a little bit confused. So I looked it up on Goodreads to like add it to my currently reading. And it was the second book. But it's fine. I read only like the first few pages of the second one and I don't think it spoiled anything in the first one for me, so I'm fine. But I am 22%, like I said, through this one, and this one so far is way better than the other Frida McFadden book that I read. The other Frida McFadden was The Locked Door. I think that's what it's called. And it was awful. I hated it so much. But this one is really interesting. I'm sure everyone's heard about it by now, but just in case you don't know what it's about, there's this girl, this main character, her name's Millie, and she gets hired to be a housemaid for this family, and the wife is like kind of crazy, like delusional crazy, like doesn't remember conversations or thinks that things have happened that actually haven't happened. So she's just trying to navigate working with that. As of right now, I'm intrigued, interested, don't know like what is going to happen yet. Like I don't have any predictions because like I don't know what the big mystery is yet. We're still just like setting everything up. But the writing is fine. It's not sticking out in like a positive or negative way, which is good for me. I'm glad I'm giving Freida McFadden a second chance, but I still don't see myself picking up another one of her books unless this one just like knocks my socks off. So stay tuned. I'm now 43% of the way through The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. This main character is dumb as rocks, if I can say that. It's definitely giving like thriller movie where the main character is making just like every single dumb decision and you just want to scream at the screen and be like, what are you doing? Yeah, that's definitely happening with this book. Not to that extent, but just some of the things that she's like thinking and saying and doing, I'm like, why? Like, why would you do that? That is not something that a normal person in this situation would do. I think last time I updated you guys, I was only like 22% in, and I said that the writing wasn't sticking out in a positive or negative way. Now the writing is sticking out to me in, I'm still gonna say like a neutral way. Something that I realize that Freida McFadden does, at least in the two books that I've read, is it's very diary-esque writing. So I personally do not love first person point of view because I don't like it being, oh, I think this and he says this and we do this and I'll do this. I don't know. I prefer third person. But this is first person, which is fine. I can get by with a first person point of view. But it's written the way that like Disney Channel is written. Let me clarify. Okay, so you know in like Disney Channel shows when it's like a voiceover and it's this kid saying like, that's my life and I did this. You won't believe what happened next. I did this. That's what the writing feels like. Like all of her internal monologues feel very like, they're not thoughts. It's like she's telling you the story, which I guess I've never really like thought about when reading first person. Like I'm fine with first person when it truly is dialogue and then their thoughts and then the describing their actions. But this is like the character is thinking, I just did that. I did, like, I don't know. Like, let me see if I can come up with an example that's not gonna be a spoiler. Needless to say, we don't do this. So yes, I did it. Like nobody thinks like that, like internally. That's not a thought. I don't know. It's just weird. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But overall, the story has definitely taken a turn and I am entertained. I am thinking about it while I'm not reading it, which is a good sign. So I'm really, really hopeful that it is a good twist because I really want to like it. I feel like so many people did like it. I really want to like it. So I just finished The Housemaid.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm recording. I was not expecting that. I did guess, like, some of the plot twist, like one aspect of the plot twist I knew. But other than that, she got me. She got me with the twist. I am pleasantly surprised with this book. I still don't know if I'm going to pick up another McFadden book. I probably won't continue into The Housemaid's Secret because The Housemaid was really good. I'm very pleased with it, but I don't know if I care enough about the storyline to read the second one. And also with thrillers, I feel like once you know the characters, it's harder to continue the story and keep it thrilling. I've also heard that the second one is not as good. But anyway, I really don't know where I fall in terms of rating that one because it's hard for me to rate thrillers. That one was good. I will say from probably like 65 to 70% to the end, I was hooked. Like, I've just been sitting here reading for the past, I don't know, 2 hours, and I just finished it. There were at some points where I out loud was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was worried, did not know what was gonna happen. The ending did wrap up very nicely, so I am pleased with that. Overall, I'd probably give it like 3.5 stars. Like a little bit better than 3 stars, but it's not 4 stars. So probably like 3.5 stars. Pleasantly surprised. I'm glad I picked that one up. So with The Housemaid done, I can check off my second chance author prompt. So go ahead and do that. All right, so, and then there were 3. Classic, a graphic novel, and a reread. I have no idea, honestly, what even classifies as a graphic novel. I really need to do more research into that, but I just want to go ahead and start reading the next book. So I think I'm going to save graphic novel for the end. And I think I can do 2 birds with 1 stone and reread a classic. So Pride and Prejudice is one of my favorite books of all time. I've read it 2 or 3 times already. But I've never read like my own physical copy. I've always borrowed them from the library or listened to the audiobook. And I really want to annotate this. So I think I'm going to reread Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen and annotate. Okay, so I think last time I updated, it was that I was going to start Pride and Prejudice and also try to annotate it, and I am still going to do that. I haven't started it yet because I've been busy with some other things, but I went ahead and looked into graphic novels, and there are a bunch on Kindle Unlimited that I'm interested in, but I don't think that they're actually compatible with my Kindle. So I have the Kindle app on my phone, and I think I am going to just look for one on that app on my phone and read it on my phone. I don't know which one yet. There's 2 that I looked at. There's one called, what was it? A Bag of Marbles, and I think that that's a graphic novel about like the Holocaust. And then there's another one called The Infinity something. The Infinity, I don't know, but it's about like AI, and I think they fall in love with AI or something like that. I don't know. Like I said, I did just very brief research into it, so I am very pleased that I have a way to read some graphic novels because I was worried I was gonna have to go out and buy one or like try to go to the library and see if they had any. But I think I'm gonna be able to get one on Kindle Unlimited. I think once I finish those 2, once I finish Pride and Prejudice and then whichever graphic novel, I'll be done with my book bingo. And I think that will also put me over my reading goal for this year, which is absolutely insane. So pleased with myself. My goal last year was like 35 books, and this year I upped it to 50 books. And I was really confident at the beginning of the year, but then I started to get worried about like a quarter in because I was so busy with work that I hadn't had a lot of time to read. But I caught up in the summer, and then I've really stayed on top of my game for the most part since then. So I'm very pleased with that as well. It has been a few days, but I did end up finishing the graphic novel. I ended up reading The Dirty Parts of the Bible. Honestly, it was good. It's super fast because it is a graphic novel, but I'm glad that I read it because I think I realized that I don't really like graphic novels. I know I like comics. Like, I grew up reading Calvin and Hobbes and like Dilbert and other comics like that. But as far as graphic novels go, I don't know if I'm ever going to pick one up again unless the subject just like really interests me. I am not a visual person when I read. Like, I don't see the scenes happening in my mind. So I really thought that graphic novels were going to be perfect for me because I would have it visualized for me. But I realized that as I was reading, I was just reading the words. I wasn't actually looking at the pictures at all. So that's like why you read a graphic novel, is for the pictures, but I just didn't really care. Like, it was a good book, or a graphic novel, but at the same time, probably won't go for another graphic novel, but I'm glad that I did it. Pride and Prejudice reading update. It has been a while, not that y'all could tell, but it has been a while since I updated you guys, and I am 70 pages into Pride and Prejudice. I just stopped at chapter 16, and as you can see, I have been annotating. This is the first time, not the first time that I'm annotating, but the first time that I'm using tabs where different colors represents different things. So I have like a little guide here, and I am not sure what all tabs I'm gonna have because I'm kind of just, as I'm reading, if something sticks out to me and I think that I'm gonna see a lot of it, I'll make it a tab. So obviously I have quotes, but then separate from quotes, I have a different color tab for silliness, because one of my favorite things about this book is how it reads. It is written in such a comedic way. It's unlike anything I've ever read, and it's one of the reasons that I love this book so much. I'm not sure, I have not actually read any other Jane Austen, which is kind of crazy considering how much I love this book. The way that information is presented is just very silly, and a lot of the banter between characters is very silly, and so I wanted a separate tab for silliness, and as you can see, maybe it's that purple color. I have quite a bit. I don't know if y'all can see that at all. But then I have a tab for Darcy, a tab for Lizzie, and then a tab for sisters, and just like kind of friendship and sisters is all that same color. So I feel like I have tabbed Darcy the most. Darcy is yellow, and it started with Darcy being kind of dumb, just like being very oblivious to what's going on. But really just any time that I underline something that has to do with Darcy, I put a tab for it. I mean, this is Darcy. This is, I'm going to kind of spoil, nothing serious. I feel like at this point, it's been out for literally over a century. When was this book written? Oh my gosh, multiple centuries. This was 1813. So, if you consider me telling you plot points of Pride and Prejudice, which was written over 200 years ago, a spoiler, then yes, this will be a spoiler. But like this, I wanted to underline like this whole page because this is the scene at the dance when he's like, oh, Lizzie's not handsome enough to tempt me, and it's so silly. This color is for Lizzie, and I just underlined this whole thing because she's just being oblivious to the fact that Darcy's in love with her. And then on that same page, Darcy admits that he's in love with her, but doesn't know how to not to her. He kind of is realizing that he's falling in love with her. Oh, it's just so silly. And then I have a bunch of silliness marked in this next bit because it's Mr. Collins. And oh my gosh, I love the scenes with Mr. Collins because they're so silly. They're so silly. And Mr. Bennett is like the silliest character in this whole book, just in the way that he like acknowledges other people's silliness and kind of makes fun of them for it. It's just iconic. I love this book so much. I'm having such a good time rereading it. The first time that I read it was in high school. Fell in love with it. And then I want to say I listened to the audiobook in high school, like maybe a year later. And then I listened to the audiobook again a couple years ago. And I love the audiobook because it's read in like the accent, and it's such a soothing book. But both times I listened to the audiobook, I wasn't really paying attention to it because I know the story so well. I've seen the movie a billion times. So I wasn't really paying attention to things. And the first time that I read it, obviously I was in high school, so there was a lot that I missed. So I'm really enjoying reading it as an adult and just really paying attention to all the things that aren't part of the movie or that I just missed. I love this book so much. And I'm so glad that I'm finally rereading it. I've owned it for close to a year now, at least a few months. I bought this because I knew I wanted a copy to annotate that I could reread over and over and over again. And I don't know when I would have finally gotten around to picking it up if it weren't for my book bingo. So very glad that I'm finally reading it, and I am just thoroughly enjoying myself. Finished Pride and Prejudice, and look at this. Do you see all of these tabs? I am so proud of myself. Honestly, I'm not at all surprised that I tabbed this much because I love this book that much. I know I've probably said it a billion times, this is the third time that I've read this book, and honestly probably one of the best experiences I've had reading this book because I was paying so much more attention to just everything, and I am older, so I feel like I can appreciate it a lot better than I did when I was a sophomore in high school, which is the first time that I physically read it. Obviously, when you're listening to an audiobook, like I was listening to it while I was working, which was probably 2 or 3 years ago, and even then I wasn't like super paying attention. Like it was just something to have on in the background while I was working. So this time was absolutely incredible. And this is the first time that I have tabbed where each different color of tab means something. So looking at just like all the different colored tabs, I know what each one means. I really can't speak highly enough about it. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it. For some people, I can definitely understand how the way this is written would be a little bit either intimidating or just kind of a turnoff because it's very wordy, very old British wit and humor, and it's written as if your aunt is like telling you all the gossip, like filling you in on everything. That's kind of how it reads to me at times, and I eat it up. I love it so much. I'm just obsessed with this story. And of course, everyone knows like this is the original enemies to lovers, and it's done right because they both had problems with each other. They told each other what the problems were, and then they worked on those problems and then were able to fall in love. It's not like, oh, I love you because I can't have you, or I hate you, I don't know why I'm kissing you. Like, no, it was actual character development, acts of service, and like the things that you do for someone you love that speak volumes to how much you love them, more so than just saying I love you. And also just relationships in general, I feel like are explored so very well in this book. I love this book. 5 stars. I cannot wait to rewatch the movie for probably the 1 millionth time. I watched this movie so many times, And it was really cool reading the book, reading like specific word for word quotes they used in the movie. I love when movies use actual quotes from the book, and this movie honestly did it quite a lot. There were a few times where I recognized a quote, but it was spoken by someone different than they had speak it in the movie, which I understand why, because there are so many characters in this book that they just could not introduce all of them into the movie. So they had them being spoken by other people, or that just the way the scene worked, it didn't really work to have that character saying it, which that's just a little nitpicky thing. But honestly, I didn't mind it. Like, I thought it was really interesting. So Pride and Prejudice being my classic reread, so I was able to color in the rest of my book bingo. And there you have it. 2024 book bingo is absolutely complete. This has been so much fun. I loved it so much, and I am very excited to do it again next year. Maybe with a few different prompts, but honestly, I really, really enjoyed it, and I will be doing it again next year. I know I've said that several times throughout this video, but this has been my favorite thing so far. I feel like it's really helped me both go out of my comfort zone when it comes to reading and also be more intentional with what I'm choosing to read so that I can knock some of these out. I've just really had a lot of fun with this. If you are interested in doing my book bingo along with me next year, stay on the lookout for my 2025 reading journal setup, because I will be using the same journal. I honestly have not gotten very far. Like, I have all these pages that have not even been touched yet. So it will be in the same journal, but I am going to just start fresh for 2025, get some new yearly spreads set up and stuff like that. So I am very excited, and I hope that some of you join me, because I think that'd be really fun to just kind of check in with each other and see where we're at on the bingo. Thank you so much for watching my video and for joining me on this reading vlog to finish my book bingo. I feel like it was maybe pretty long, but we'll see. If you enjoyed it, please like this video and comment down below your favorite part, if you've read any of these books that I read in this video, if you've been doing a book bingo, anything like that. I would love to hear from you guys, and please make sure that you subscribe so that I can see you in the next one. Bye.